Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get on track for under $6,000 for a Time Attack event. I know it's been a little while since I posted last, but I've been building this car that's sitting right here for Time Attack. I've always wanted to get more seat time to improve my driving skills. And up until now, I've been really put off doing this due to the cost of it, the risk involved, among many other excuses. But I've decided that 2023 is going to be the year where I actually focus on getting seat time in a car and improving my driving skills. So my one worry that I had with my BRZ was with it being so extensively modified and so much money tied up in it, I really didn't want to take it out on track while I was learning, especially with it making as much power as it does. So hence the need for a budget Time Attack build. In a moment, I'm going to reveal the car that I've bought for this build. A lot of you that follow me on Instagram will already know, but I'm going to go through the reasons why I bought this car and why I think they're actually the most underrated car for its price right now. So working with a total budget of $6,000 modified to get on track, it didn't leave me many options for a car. So I definitely had to choose something cheap. Guys, here it is, my 2006 Honda Accord Euro. That little excerpt you just watched was when I tried to originally film this video, but the audio quality was terrible, so here I am refilming it now after I've done all the modifications. So I guess you all want to know why I chose a big family sedan for a Time Attack car. First of all, it is one of the cheapest ways to get a K24 engine. A lot of you by now would already know about the Honda K24 motor and its legendary status in the tuner world. A lot of people think I should have bought a Civic or an Integra instead, but truth be told, they're really expensive to get into these days, and the cheaper ones generally don't have the good motors in them. The Accord Euro as well comes with a unique suspension setup using double wishbone in the front and multi-link in the rear, which really helps with handling versus Integras and Civics, which I believe have McPherson strut. I know the Integra does, but I'm not too sure about the Civic. Even though it has a weight disadvantage, the suspension geometry in it actually has a big advantage over those other models. So yes, a major aspect of going with the Accord Euro was cost, but also it does have these other advantages. Another benefit I identified going with a larger car like the Accord Euro is when going to track days in my MX-5, I always felt that I either couldn't take my partner to the track because to fill it up with tools, or if I was taking my partner to the track, I would have to sacrifice taking some of the tools and equipment that I like to take. But again, with this Accord Euro, I can pack everything I would ever want and take it to the track, including a spare set of wheels and tires on the back seat. Living in Queensland where I do, and we don't have the best racetracks in our area, it'll open up an opportunity for me to experience other tracks around the east coast of Australia, which I'm really looking forward to hopefully later this year. And most importantly, have that lower risk on track. You know, there's only $6,000 in this car in the end of it. So with heaps of scouring Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree, I've done it. I've built it for under $6,000, including buying the car itself. So let's get into the modifications which I deemed important enough to do before my first track day. So to start, I found the car itself for $2,500. As it was running perfectly fine. It was really dirty, like it was just owned by somebody that had kids and never washed it or anything. But mechanically the car was fine, it had recent enough service history, so I was pretty confident picking it up. And also as well, the K24s are pretty good, like they can pretty much outlast anyone that doesn't want to service them for an extended period of time, unless it's an extreme case of course. But yeah, so that's $2,500 out of the $6,000 budget gone, which doesn't leave much for modifications. So I've built this car up over the last few months, just waiting for deals to come available on Facebook Marketplace. So I didn't necessarily buy the mods in any logical order. They were more so purchased in an order of just whatever came up for sale first, which was in good condition for a good price. The first modification I picked up up was a set of Cusco coilovers. A local guy had them for sale for a couple of months. I ended up haggling them down to $1,000. And even though these Cusco coilovers are a little bit more comfort bias, they should be fine for what I'm doing in Time Attack, which is just getting out on a budget. So the next modification I was able to pick up for a bargain was these Japan Racing wheels. These wheels came up for a spec that I was looking for, which is 17 by 9 plus 35. Originally, I was just gonna buy like some Evo Enki OEM wheels. However, when these came up in the perfect spec, I sort of thought, well, at least I can invest in good tires. Now, I was pretty lucky with these because they came up for sale second hand, but new in box. So after a little bit of back and forth with the buyer, he didn't want to budge on price, so I got them for $1,000 in the end. So then I was on the hunt for some bargain semi-slick tires. Ideally, I would have loved to have bought brand new. However, after I had spent so much money on the wheels, I couldn't afford to spend too much on the tires. And then I ended up finding a seller on Marketplace listing these for, I think it was $500 or $600. A few messages back and forth and a couple of weeks went by and he was able to sell them to me for $425. So in total for a wheel and tire package, I ended up spending $1,425, which to me was a pretty good deal because I had originally set out to spend about $1,500 on a wheel and tire setup, which if I had gone with the cheaper Evo wheels like I was originally thinking about, it would have been a narrower tire to fit onto those rims, I believe. In my mind, even though these are a little bit heavier overall, I think it was a good choice. And lastly, for the wheels, because they have such a narrow diameter wheel nut or lug nut hole, I ended up having to buy a set of internal hex lug nuts, which set me back another $35. So next I moved my attention onto the braking system, and I really did this on a budget as much as I could. So I ended up machining the stock rotors that I had on it. They still have plenty of life left on them. And I got a set of Intima brake pads, their SR series, which I've been told by a few people are plenty for the tracks in our area. To finish up the braking system, I also got a set of stainless steel brake lines, which probably aren't necessary, but to me, they're a bit of a peace of mind taking a 17-year-old car out on track, as well as the fact that they give you a bit more brake feel, which is really helpful on track to understand what the car's doing a little bit better. And after doing all of this brake work, I also got a bottle of Motul RBF 660 high temp brake fluid and bled the whole system, and that was an extra $74. The last few items on my list were just servicing items. So I got an alignment for $80. I was lucky to pick up a bottle of oil for $35 on a special. So that was my service. The oil filter was another $20. And I also picked up a bottle of transmission oil as well because I was having issue with my gears grinding. So guys, there you have it. My budget, K-powered, under $6,000 Time Attack built car. So my first track day of the year is actually only 5 days away now. So I'm really excited to take this out on track, and I'll probably be making another video of this car out on track and seeing how it does in its class. The Time Attack series near me, they sort of do their classes a little bit weirdly, where I'll be put in a class with and naturally aspirated cars up to 4 liters. So with a 2.4 liter engine and for about 1,400 kilograms of weight, it probably won't be the most competitive in its class. But what it will do is to be a really good, reliable car out on track where I can get a heap of seat time and not feel too bad beating on it like you would with some other cars of this age. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate all of you that choose to follow along, which is on the screen below. And I've also started recently posting on TikTok a little bit more, so you can follow me there as well. BRZ content is definitely coming back. I've just been more focused on this recently. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.